My hands are shaking as I type this. I've spent the last 72 hours trying to find a rational explanation for what I'm about to tell you, and I keep coming up empty. Maybe someone out there can help me make sense of this. Maybe someone knows what the hell is happening to me. 3 days ago, I was living a normal life. My name is Emma Valenti, I'm 29 years old, and I work as a database administrator for a tech company in Portland, Oregon. I have an apartment in the Pearl District, a cat named Rutherford, and a routine that's boring in the best possible way. Coffee at the same cafe each morning, work from 9 to 5, climbing gym twice a week, Thai food on Fridays. Normal. Safe. Mine. Or so I thought. It started when I was cleaning out my storage unit. I'd been putting it off for months. It was full of boxes from my move to Portland 5 years ago, stuff I'd never unpacked and probably didn't need. My lease on the unit was up, and I figured it was time to finally sort through everything and get rid of the clutter. Most of it was exactly what I expected: old textbooks from college, clothes that no longer fit, kitchen appliances I'd replaced. Then I opened a cardboard box labeled Emily, miscellaneous in handwriting I didn't recognize. The name was wrong, but I figured it was just a mistake from the moving company. The box was full of photo albums and documents. I pulled out the first photo album, expecting to see pictures of myself from college, maybe some family photos. Instead, I found images of a little girl I'd never seen before. Dark curly hair, gap-toothed smile, holding a stuffed rabbit. The photos progressed through what looked like childhood birthday parties, school pictures, family vacations. In every photo, the same girl. I didn't recognize her. I didn't recognize the people she was with. I didn't recognize the houses or locations in the backgrounds. I was about to put the album aside, assuming the moving company had given me someone else's box by mistake, when I noticed something. In one of the photos the girl must have been about 7. She was standing next to a wooden playhouse in a backyard. Carved into the wood of the playhouse, barely visible, were initials, EV. My initials. I looked at the girl's face more carefully. The shape of the eyes, the way she smiled with her whole face, the small birthmark on her left cheekbone. My birthmark. That's when I realized the little girl in the photos was supposed to be me. But I had never seen any of these pictures before. I didn't remember any of these moments. The stuffed rabbit, the playhouse, the people in the photos, none of it was familiar. I tore through the rest of the box. More photo albums, all showing this girl growing from infancy through about age 14. Report cards for Emily Rose Valenti from schools I'd never attended in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, a place I'd never lived. A birth certificate that matched my birth date but listed parents I'd never heard of, Michael and Patricia Valenti. My parents' names are David and Patricia Chen. I grew up in Beaverton, Oregon, an only child. My mother is Chinese American, my father is white. The people in these photos were white, with Italian features. They couldn't possibly be my parents. At the bottom of the box, I found a newspaper clipping, yellowed with age, dated July 17, 2010. The headline read, "Local teen still missing after 2 weeks." Below was a photo of a 14-year-old girl. Same dark curly hair, same birthmark. Same face I see in the mirror every day, just younger. The article said that Emily Rose Valenti, age 14, had disappeared on July 3, 2010, after leaving her friend's house to bike home. She never arrived. Her bicycle was found abandoned on a trail near Lake Michigan. There were no signs of struggle, no witnesses, no leads. The Whitefish Bay Police Department was asking anyone with information to come forward. I stared at that article for what felt like hours. The girl in the photo was definitely me. Or someone who looked exactly like me. But I was alive. I had never been missing. I had never lived in Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. On July 3, 2010, I would have been 14 years old, living with my parents in Beaverton, getting ready to start high school. I remember that summer. I remember complaining about being bored, going to swimming lessons, arguing with my mom about screen time. I remember all of it. Don't I? I called my mom immediately. She answered on the second ring, cheerful as always. "Emma. How are you, honey? I was just thinking about you." "Mom, can I ask you something weird?" "Of course. What's up? Have you ever heard of Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin?" A pause. "I don't think so." "Why? Have we ever lived there? Or visited?" No, sweetie. We've lived in Oregon your whole life. Are you okay? Yeah, I just... Mom, do you have any pictures of me when I was a kid? Like, really young? Of course I do. Boxes of them. You know I'm terrible at getting around to making photo books. Why? Could you send me some? Just a few from when I was a baby, and maybe some from when I was around 10 or 11. Another pause, longer this time. Emma, what's going on? You're worrying me. Nothing, I promise. I just found some old photos and it made me nostalgic. Okay. I'll scan some and email them to you tonight. But if something's wrong, you know you can tell me, right? I know, Mom. I love you. After we hung up, I looked at the missing person article again. Then I did what anyone would do in 2025, I googled Emily Rose Valenti. The results made my blood run cold. There were dozens of articles about the disappearance. A Facebook page called Find Emily Valenti with over 5,000 followers. A website maintained by her parents, Michael and Patricia, the people from the photos, with updates begging for information. The most recent update was from just 2 months ago. Emily Rose Valenti was still missing. Had been missing for 15 years. There had been no sightings, no body, no closure. Just a 14-year-old girl who vanished and never came home. I scrolled through the Facebook page. Recent comments from people who said they'd gone to school with Emily, who remembered her, who hoped she'd be found alive. Photos of candlelight vigils. Posts from Patricia Valenti on Emily's birthday each year, talking about how old she would have been, what they imagined she might be doing if she were still alive. The most recent post, from Patricia, was dated last week. Emily would be 29 now. I imagine she'd be working in a field she loves, maybe with a pet, living in a city somewhere. I imagine her happy, because the alternative is unbearable. If you're out there, Emily, please come home. We love you. We never stopped looking. 29. The same age I am now. I pulled up more photos from the news articles and compared them to pictures of myself. The resemblance was impossible to deny. It wasn't just similar, it was exact. The birthmark on the left cheekbone, identical. The slight gap between the front teeth, identical. The way the left eyebrow sat slightly higher than the right, identical. I took a selfie and held it up next to a photo of Emily from when she was 13. We looked like the same person, just 2 years apart in age. That night, my mom emailed me scanned photos. Baby pictures, toddler pictures, school photos. I appeared in all of them. But when I really looked at the backgrounds, the settings, the other people, none of it triggered any memories. I knew I should remember the birthday party in the photos, the trip to the zoo, the first day of kindergarten. But I didn't. Not really. I remembered the fact of these events, but not the experience of them. It felt like remembering something I'd been told about, rather than something I'd lived through. I spent the entire next day digging deeper. I found Emily Valenti's school records online through some legally questionable database searches. Thank you, tech job skills. Her academic history ended abruptly in 8th grade. Report cards showed she was an A student, particularly strong in math and science. I've always been strong in math and science. I found middle school photos. Emily was on the swim team. I was on my high school swim team. Emily played piano. I play piano. Emily had a cat named Professor. I have a cat named Rutherford. The similarities kept piling up, each one making it harder to breathe. But here's the thing that really got me, I found a video. Someone had posted it on the Find Emily Facebook page last year, digitized from an old home video. Emily was about 12, at what looked like a family barbecue. She was laughing at something off camera, and then she turned and looked directly at the camera lens. For just a moment, I could see her mannerisms, the way she moved, the way she tilted her head when she smiled. And they were my mannerisms. My movements. My smile. I've seen videos of myself from when I was a kid, my mom has hours of them. And I move exactly the way Emily moved in that video. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking about the box in storage, about the photos and documents with the wrong parents and the wrong history. How did that box end up in my storage unit? I'd moved to Portland 5 years ago, in 2020, and I'd been meticulous about labeling and organizing. I would have noticed if a box of someone else's belongings had been mixed in with mine. Wouldn't I? The next morning, I called the moving company I'd used back in 2020. After being transferred 3 times, I finally got someone who could look up my old records. Let's see, moved from Beaverton to Portland in October 2020. Looks like everything went smoothly, no complaints on file. What can I help you with? Do you keep records of exactly what was moved? Like, an itemized list. We should have an initial inventory from the loading day. Hold on. Keyboard sounds. Okay, here we go. Looks like 32 boxes, various furniture items, all accounted for and delivered. Why do you ask? Do any of those boxes have unusual labels? Like someone else's name on them? Checking, no, all the labels have your name. Emma Valenti or Emma V. That's it. Are you sure? Not even one box with a different name. I'm looking at the photos we take during loading for insurance purposes. All your boxes. Is there a problem? No, no problem. Thank you. After I hung up, I felt sick. That box had my name on it according to the moving company records, but I clearly remembered seeing Emily, miscellaneous written on it. Hadn't I? Or had I misread it? Was my mind playing tricks on me? I decided I needed to talk to someone who had known me as a kid, someone outside my family. I called Jessica Chen, my best friend from elementary school. We'd drifted apart after high school, but we still exchanged birthday messages on Facebook. Emma. Oh my god, it's been forever. How are you? Hey Jess. I'm good, I'm good. Random question, do you remember much from when we were kids? Like, elementary school. Some stuff, yeah. Why? Do you remember what my parents looked like? She laughed. That is random. Your mom is Chinese, right? And your dad is white? I think. I honestly mostly remember your mom because she always brought the best snacks to class parties. You don't remember me ever mentioning living somewhere else? Like Wisconsin? Wisconsin? No, you've always been an Oregon girl as far as I know. Emma, are you okay? This is weird. I know, I'm sorry. Just trying to settle a bet. Thanks, Jess. Okay, but we should get coffee soon and actually catch up. Definitely. I'll text you. I wouldn't text her. I couldn't handle normal socializing when my entire reality was fracturing. I spent the afternoon on ancestry websites and genealogy databases. Michael and Patricia Valenti of Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, were real people. They had one child, Emily Rose, born February 14, 1996. The same day I was born. They still lived at the same address they'd lived at in 2010. I found their phone number. My hand hovered over my phone for 30 minutes before I finally called. A woman answered on the third ring. Hello. Hi, is this Patricia Valenti? Yes, who's calling? I almost hung up. I should have hung up. Instead, I said, my name is Emma Valenti. I live in Portland, Oregon. I found some things that I think might be related to your daughter. Silence. Then, what kind of things? Photos. Documents. A birth certificate. I found them in my storage unit, and I think there might have been some kind of mix-up, or I didn't know how to finish that sentence. Can you send me a photo of yourself? Her voice was shaking. Mrs. Valenti, I should tell you, I look like the photos of Emily. A lot like them. But I'm not, I can't be, I have my own family, my own memories. Please. Just send me a photo. I hung up and texted her a recent selfie. Then I sat there, staring at my phone, hard hammering. She called back 2 minutes later. She was crying. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's you. Emily, it's you. Mrs. Valenti, I'm not Emily. My name is Emma. I was born in Oregon. I've never been to Wisconsin. No, you're confused. You must be confused. We've been looking for you for 15 years. Emily, please, you need to come home. I'm not confused. I have memories. I have a birth certificate. I have parents. What are their names? Your parents. David and Patricia Chen. Another silence. Then, Emily, your father's name was Michael. I'm Patricia. We're your parents. I don't know what happened to you, I don't know who took you or what they told you, but you're our daughter. Please, please come home. My head was spinning. This doesn't make sense. I remember my childhood. I remember Oregon, I remember my school, my friends. False memories. She interrupted, voice desperate. That happens sometimes with abductions. They create a new identity for the child, plant false memories. Emily, we never stopped looking for you. Please, let us help you. I need to go. Wait. Don't hang up. At least talk to the police. They can sort this out. They can run DNA tests. Emily, please. I hung up. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the phone. False memories. Could that be real? Could someone have kidnapped Emily Valenti at 14 and somehow made her believe she was someone else? But I had memories from before age 14. I remembered being a child, a toddler. I remembered learning to walk, learning to read, my first day of school. But did I really remember those things? Or did I remember photos I'd been shown, stories I'd been told? I pulled out the photos my mom had sent me and really looked at them. There I was as a baby, held by a woman who looked like my mom. But when I tried to actually remember being that baby, to recall the feeling of being held or the context of that moment, there was nothing. Just the image itself. I called my mom. She answered immediately. Emma, sweetie, I was just thinking about. Mom, I need you to be completely honest with me. Am I adopted? A sharp intake of breath. What? No. Emma, where is this coming from? Please, Mom. Just tell me the truth. You're not adopted. I gave birth to you on February 14, 1996, at Providence Hospital in Portland. Labor was 14 hours. You were 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Your dad cried when he held you for the first time. You're my daughter. My biological daughter. She sounded sincere. She sounded certain. But I needed proof. Do you have any medical records from when I was born? Hospital records, birth certificate, anything. Emma, you're scaring me. What's going on? Please, Mom. It's important. I'm sure I have them somewhere. They'd be in the filing cabinet in the garage. But it might take me a while to find them. Can you look? Now. Now? Emma, it's 9 p.m. Can't this wait until? Please. She sighed. Okay. Stay on the line. I heard shuffling, a door opening, the sound of boxes being moved. Minutes passed. Then more minutes. Finally, Emma, I can't find them. I know I had them, but they're not where I thought they'd be. Let me look more tomorrow when I have better light. What about photos from the hospital? Right after I was born. Those would be in one of the photo boxes. Emma, please tell me what's happening. I told her everything. The box in storage, the photos of Emily Valenti, the missing person case, the phone call with Patricia Valenti. When I finished, there was a long silence. That's impossible, my mom finally said, voice small. You've been with us your whole life. We have pictures, memories. You went to Beaverton High, you had friends, you were on the swim team. This other girl just looks like you. It's a coincidence. Mom, it's not just a resemblance. It's identical. Down to the birthmark, the mannerisms, everything. Then I don't know what to tell you. But you're my daughter. I raised you. I know you. Do you have any pictures of you pregnant with me? Another silence. This one stretched longer. I don't think so. I wasn't big on being photographed when I was pregnant. I was self-conscious about the weight gain. But Dad would have taken some, right? For memories. Your father wasn't big on taking photos back then. Emma. What are you suggesting? I don't know what I'm suggesting. I just need to understand what's happening. We talked for another hour, going in circles. She insisted I was her biological daughter. I wanted to believe her. But something felt wrong, and that feeling was growing stronger by the hour. The next day, I requested my original birth certificate from the Oregon Vital Records office. Rush processing. Then I contacted a DNA testing service and ordered a kit. I also did something I probably shouldn't have done, I drove to my parents' house in Beaverton while they were at work and let myself in with my emergency key. I went straight to the garage and opened the filing cabinet my mom had mentioned. She was right, my birth certificate wasn't there. Neither were any hospital records from my birth. But I found something else, a folder labeled Emma, important documents that contained my social security card, my passport, my college transcripts, my immunization records. The immunization records started when I was 5 years old. There was nothing from before that, no newborn vaccinations, no well baby checkups. Just a sudden appearance of records starting in 2001. I would have been 5 years old in 2001. Emily Valenti would have been 5 years old in 2001. In the bottom drawer of the filing cabinet, I found another folder, this one unlabeled. Inside were newspaper clippings. My heart stopped when I saw what they were about. Articles about Emily Valenti's disappearance. Dozens of them. From July 2010 and the months that followed. All carefully clipped and saved. Why would my parents have articles about a missing girl from Wisconsin? I took photos of everything with my phone, then put everything back exactly as I'd found it. As I was leaving, I noticed something else, the photo albums in the living room. I'd looked at them hundreds of times over the years, but now I opened them with fresh eyes. The photos of me started when I was around 5 years old. There were no baby photos, no toddler photos in these albums. I'd never thought about that before. When I was younger and asked about baby pictures, my mom always said they were in storage or she'd get around to organizing them. I'd eventually stopped asking. I took one of the albums with me. Then I drove back to Portland, feeling like I was in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. That evening, I received an email from Patricia Valenti. She'd attached several documents, Emily's original birth certificate, medical records from her childhood, school photos, and a dental x-ray from 2009. Please, the email said, compare these to your own records. Get a DNA test. Talk to the police. I know this must be overwhelming and confusing, but we can prove you're our daughter. We can help you remember your real life. We love you, Emily. We never stopped loving you. I looked at Emily's birth certificate. Born February 14, 1996, at Froedtert Hospital in Milwaukee. Parents, Michael James Valenti and Patricia Ann Valenti, née Russo. Weight, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. The same weight my mom had told me I was when I was born. I opened the medical records. Emily had a small scar on her right knee from falling off a bike at age 7. I have a small scar on my right knee. My mom always told me I got it falling off a bike when I was 7. Emily broke her left wrist at age 10. I broke my left wrist at age 10, falling from a tree or so I'd been told. Every medical detail matched. I was shaking so badly I had to put the laptop down. This wasn't possible. This couldn't be real. But the evidence kept piling up, each piece making it harder to deny. I called my dad. He's usually more level-headed than my mom, more analytical. He's an accountant, someone who deals in facts and figures. Emma, your mother told me about your concerns. I want you to know that you're our daughter. I don't know what kind of sick game someone is playing, but... Dad, do you remember the day I was born? Of course I do. Tell me about it. Details. He described the hospital, the delivery room, holding me for the first time. But the details were vague, generic. Nothing specific that couldn't have been learned from a movie or a book about childbirth. Dad, do you have any photos from that day? No. Like your mother said, we weren't big on photos back then. But you're in the photo album starting when I was 5. You suddenly got interested in photos then. Emma, what are you accusing us of? I'm not accusing you of anything. I just need to understand. Why do you have newspaper clippings about Emily Valenti's disappearance? Silence. Long, heavy silence. Dad. I don't know what you're talking about. I was at the house today. I saw them. In the filing cabinet in the garage. More silence. Then, Emma, I think you need to talk to someone. A therapist. This stress you're under, it's making you paranoid, making you see connections that aren't there. I took pictures, Dad. I have proof. He hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling my world crumble. My parents, the people who raised me, who I loved, who I trusted, were lying to me. About what, I didn't know. But they were lying. The DNA test kit arrived the next day. I swabbed my cheek and sent it off with priority shipping. Then I contacted the Whitefish Bay Police Department and asked to speak with someone about Emily Valenti's case. I was connected with Detective Sarah Morrison, who'd taken over the case 3 years ago when the original investigator retired. Ms. Valenti, your call is unexpected. Mrs. Valenti contacted us yesterday and said you'd been in touch. She's very eager to meet you. I need to know what happened in this case. The details of Emily's disappearance. Are you saying you have information? I'm saying I might be Emily. But I don't remember being Emily, and I have memories of a completely different life. I need to understand what happened. Detective Morrison was quiet for a moment. This is highly unusual. But given the circumstances, I think we should meet in person. Are you willing to come to Wisconsin? Not yet. Not until I have more answers. Can you tell me about the investigation? She sighed. All right. Emily Valenti disappeared on July 3, 2010. She left her friend Kara Simmons' house at approximately 6:30 p.m. to bike home. It was a route she'd taken hundreds of times, only about 2 miles. She never arrived home. Her parents called the police when she wasn't home by 9 p.m. We found her bike the next day on the trail near Lake Michigan, just half a mile from her house. No signs of struggle, no evidence of foul play. No witnesses. She simply vanished. What were the theories? Initially, we thought abduction. Possibly someone who'd been watching her, knew her routine. But there was never any ransom demand, no sightings, nothing. We investigated the family thoroughly. Sometimes it's someone close to the victim. But the Valentis were cleared. They were completely cooperative, devastated. We investigated friends, neighbors, teachers. Nothing. And now? 15 years later. Honestly? These cases are incredibly difficult. Most missing children are found within the first 48 hours, or never. The longer time goes on, the less likely it is we'll get a resolution. Until you called. I might not be the resolution you're hoping for. Maybe not. But you're the first lead we've had in 15 years. If you're willing, I'd like to arrange DNA testing through official channels. We have Emily's DNA on file from personal items. We can compare it to yours and know for certain. I already sent off a test. Home kit. Results in 2 weeks. That's not admissible for an investigation, but it's a start. Ms. Valenti or Ms. Chen, if you prefer, I have to ask, do you have any memories at all of the time before you were 5 years old? I thought about it. Really tried to dig deep into my earliest memories. No. Not really. Just flashes that might be memories or might be from photos I've seen. Why? Because that's unusual. Most people have at least some concrete memories from age 3 or 4. And if you were abducted at 14, you should remember your entire childhood. Unless someone did something to make me forget. That's typically the stuff of movies, not reality. But I'm not ruling anything out. There are cases of traumatic amnesia, though usually not this complete. We talked for another 30 minutes. She asked about my life, my parents, my childhood. I told her everything I could remember, but it all felt hollow now, like I was describing someone else's life. After we hung up, I started digging into David and Patricia Chen's background. What I found made my blood run cold. They didn't exist before 1996. I mean, they existed as people, but not in the public record. No birth certificates on file, no school records, no paper trail before 1996. In 96, they suddenly appeared with driver's licenses, social security numbers, work histories. Everything looked legitimate, but it all started the same year I was supposedly born. The year Emily Valenti was born. I called Detective Morrison back. I think my parents David and Patricia Chen might not be who they claim to be. I told her what I'd found. She was quiet while I talked, and I could hear typing. I'll look into it, she finally said. This is becoming more complex than a simple missing person case. If what you're suggesting is true, that they abducted Emily and created new identities for all of you, we're talking about kidnapping, identity fraud, possibly more. I need you to be very careful. Don't confront them. Don't let them know you're investigating. Too late for that. They know I found the articles about Emily. Damn. Okay. Do you feel safe? Do you think they would try to stop you from learning the truth? I don't know, I don't know them at all anymore, apparently. Is there somewhere you can stay? Someone you trust? I'll figure something out. That night, I stayed in a hotel instead of going home to my apartment. I was being paranoid, maybe, but I kept thinking about those newspaper clippings. Why would my parents keep articles about a missing girl unless they had something to do with her disappearance? The next morning, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Emma? It's Kara. Kara Simmons. I'm sorry. I don't. I was Emily's best friend. Mrs. Valenti gave me your number. I hope that's okay. My heart started racing. Oh. Yeah, that's fine. I know this must be so weird for you. I saw the photos Mrs. Valenti showed me. You look exactly like her. Like Emily. And I need to know. There were things only Emily and I knew. Things we never told anyone. Would you be willing to let me ask you some questions? Okay. What was the name of Emily's stuffed rabbit? I closed my eyes, trying to think. A memory flickered faint, like something from a dream. Professor. Professor Cottontail. Silence. Then, oh my god. Yeah. Yes. We named him together. Nobody knew that name except us. How did you remember? I don't know. It just came to me. Emily, we had a secret hiding spot in your backyard. In the old oak tree. We put things in there, wrote notes to each other. Do you remember what we called it? Another flicker. Stronger this time. The hollow. She was crying now. It's you. It's really you. Emily, what happened? Where have you been? I don't know. I don't remember. I remember being someone else. Living somewhere else. But these memories, I guess? They keep coming. It's like they were buried and now they're surfacing. Can I see you? In person? I don't know if that's a good idea. This is all so confusing. Please. I've missed my best friend for 15 years. I need to see you. We made plans to meet in 2 days. She'd fly to Portland. I agreed, even though I wasn't sure it was wise. Over the next 48 hours, more memories emerged. Little things. The smell of Patricia Valenti's cooking. The sound of Michael Valenti's laugh. The feel of carpet in a bedroom I'd never seen but somehow knew. The view from a window overlooking Lake Michigan. I also started remembering July 3, 2010. It came in pieces, fragments that didn't quite fit together. Biking home from Kara's house. The sun setting. A van pulling up beside me. A woman's voice, Emily, honey, get in the car. And I did, because I recognized the voice, trusted it. But the woman wasn't Patricia Valenti. It was Patricia Chen. My mother. The memory ended there, replaced by darkness and confusion, then new memories of a new life, a new home, a new identity. When Kara arrived, we met at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. She was my age, blonde, with kind eyes that filled with tears the moment she saw me. Emily, she breathed. I go by Emma now. Right. Sorry. Emma. She sat down across from me. You look the same. Older, obviously, but the same. It's surreal. For both of us. We talked for hours. She told me stories about our childhood friendship, about inside jokes and adventures. With each story, more memories surfaced. They felt real, but they also felt like they belonged to someone else. What do you remember about the day I disappeared? I asked. You came over after school. We watched movies, ate pizza, talked about boys. Normal 14-year-old stuff. Then around 6:30, you said you had to get home for dinner. I walked you out, watched you ride off on your bike. That was the last time I saw you. She wiped her eyes. I've replayed that moment 1,000 times. Wondered if I should have insisted on calling your parents to pick you up, or walked with you. But it was broad daylight, and it was a route you took all the time. How was I supposed to know? It's not your fault. I know. But I still feel guilty. She reached across the table and took my hand. I'm so glad you're alive. Even if you don't remember everything, even if you don't remember being Emily, you're alive. That's what matters. But that wasn't all that mattered. I needed to know the truth. I needed to know why David and Patricia Chen had taken me, had erased Emily Valenti and created Emma Chen in her place. The DNA results came back 3 days later. I sat in my apartment, hands shaking, and opened the email. 99.9% match to Patricia Valenti, submitted as maternal reference sample. I was Emily Valenti. Everything I'd believed about myself, my entire identity, was based on a lie. I wasn't Emma Chen. Emma Chen never existed. I was a kidnapped girl who'd been brainwashed into forgetting her real life. I called Detective Morrison immediately. She told me they'd been building a case against David and Patricia Chen. Warrants had been issued for their arrest on charges of kidnapping, identity fraud, and child endangerment. We need you to testify, she said. Your testimony, combined with the DNA evidence and the investigation into the Chen's background, will put them away for a very long time. They raised me, I said, voice hollow. For 15 years, they were my parents. They took care of me, loved me. At least, I thought they loved me. They stole you from your real family. They stole 15 years of your life. I know. I don't know how to process this. Take your time. We'll support you through this. And Emily, your real parents want to see you. When you're ready. But was I ready? Was I Emily Valenti, the girl who'd disappeared? Or was I Emma Chen, the person I'd been for the past 15 years? Could I be both? Could I be neither? David and Patricia Chen were arrested 2 days later. I watched the news coverage from my hotel room. They looked so normal, so ordinary. Patricia was crying, insisting they'd done nothing wrong. David was silent, head down. I felt nothing. Or maybe everything all at once. Anger, betrayal, grief, confusion. They'd stolen me. But they'd also raised me. They'd lied to me. But they'd also cared for me. How do you reconcile that? I'm meeting Michael and Patricia Valenti next week. My real parents. They've sent me messages, photos, telling me how much they love me, how they never gave up hope. They want me to come home to Wisconsin, to reclaim my old life. But I don't have an old life to reclaim. Emily Valenti is gone. She disappeared 15 years ago, and she's not coming back. I'm not her anymore, even if I have her DNA, her face, her fragmented memories. I don't know who I am. I'm in therapy now, trying to sort through everything. My therapist says it's normal to feel untethered, to struggle with identity after something like this. She says it will take time to integrate these two versions of myself. But what if they can't be integrated? What if Emma and Emily are fundamentally incompatible? The trial is in 6 months. David and Patricia Chen are facing serious prison time. I'll have to testify about what I remember, about finding the box, about the investigation. I'll have to look at them and tell a courtroom that they kidnapped me. And the worst part? I still love them. Despite everything, some part of me still loves them. The memories keep coming. Last night, I remembered my 14th birthday, my real 14th birthday, as Emily. Patricia and Michael Valenti threw me a party. Kara was there. And other friends whose names I'm slowly remembering. There was a chocolate cake with cream cheese frosting. I made a wish before I blew out the candles. I wished for adventure. 3 months later, I disappeared. Be careful what you wish for. I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. My entire life is a question mark now. I don't know where I belong, who I am, what I want. The Valentis are kind and loving, and they deserve to have their daughter back. But I'm not the daughter they lost. That girl is gone. And the parents I thought I had, the Chens, they were never really my parents at all. I'm nobody's daughter. Or maybe I'm everyone's daughter. Or maybe identity is more fluid than I ever realized. All I know is this: I found my own missing person poster, and in the process, I lost myself. So if you see me walking around Portland or Wisconsin or wherever I end up, if you see a woman who looks a little lost, a little uncertain, like she doesn't quite fit in her own skin, maybe that's because I don't. I'm Emily Valenti. I'm Emma Chen. I'm both. I'm neither. I'm still missing, in a way. And I don't know if I'll ever be found. Update, posted 2 days later. I wasn't going to update this, but some of you have reached out with questions and support, and I feel like I owe you an ending. Or at least, the next chapter. The police finished their investigation. They found more than they expected. David and Patricia Chen aren't who they said they were. Their real names are David and Patricia Hillman. They had a daughter named Emma who died in 1995 from leukemia. She was 3 years old. After Emma died, Patricia had a breakdown. David tried to help her, but she became obsessed with the idea that Emma was still alive, that she'd come back somehow. They went to therapy, tried medication, but nothing worked. In 1996, they disappeared. Created new identities. And apparently, they'd been looking for a replacement for their dead daughter ever since. They tried to adopt, but weren't approved due to Patricia's mental health history. They tried fostering, but their home was deemed unsuitable. So they waited. And watched. And when they saw a 14-year-old girl who looked remarkably like photos of their Emma, they made a plan. They didn't just steal me on a whim. They'd been watching the Valenti family for months. They knew my routine, my friends, my life. They timed it perfectly, waited until I was biking home alone, approached me in that van, used a voice I'd learned to trust. Patricia had practiced mimicking voices, apparently another detail police uncovered. They drugged me. Took me across state lines. And then, over the course of several months, they reprogrammed me. That's what the psychiatrist called it. A combination of drugs, manipulation, isolation, and constructed memories. They showed me fake photos, told me stories about my childhood as Emma Chen, reinforced this new identity over and over. By the time they let me interact with the world again, enrolled me in school, let me make friends, I genuinely believed I was Emma Chen. I had no memory of being Emily Valenti. Or rather, those memories were buried so deep I couldn't access them. The thing is, they did love me. In their twisted, broken way, they really did love me. Patricia's journals, seized by police, are full of entries about how happy she was to have her daughter back, how I was a gift, how she'd been given a second chance. David's journals are darker. He knew it was wrong. He knew they'd stolen me. But he couldn't bring himself to stop it because it made Patricia happy, and he'd do anything to see her smile again. They're not monsters. They're broken people who did monstrous things. Does that make it better? I don't know. I met the Valentis yesterday. My biological parents. We sat in a room with a therapist present, and they stared at me like I was a ghost come to life. Patricia Valenti, and it's weird calling her that since that's also the name of the woman who raised me, looked older than her photos. Grief had aged her. Michael looked tired, worn down by 15 years of unanswered questions. Emily, Patricia said, reaching for my hand. I let her take it. We never stopped looking for you. Not for one day. I know, I said. I'm sorry. You have nothing to be sorry for. But I do, don't I? I'm sorry I don't remember them the way I should. I'm sorry I can't just slip back into being their daughter. I'm sorry that getting me back can't undo 15 years of pain. We talked for 2 hours. They told me about my childhood, showed me more photos, shared memories. Some of it triggered recall. Most of it didn't. They want me to come home. To move back to Wisconsin, to reclaim my old room, they've kept it exactly as I left it, to be Emily again. I told them I'd think about it. But here's the truth, I can't be Emily Valenti again. That person is gone. The Chens, the Hillmans, whatever their names were, they didn't just take me. They took Emily and erased her. I'm someone new now. Someone in between. A fusion of Emily and Emma, neither one and both. I'm keeping the name Emma. It feels right, even though it was given to me under false pretenses. It's who I've been for 15 years. I can't just shed it like a snake sheds skin. But I'm changing my last name to Valenti. Because that's who I am biologically, and the Valentis deserve that acknowledgement. So I'm Emma Valenti now. A new person. A rebuilt person. I'm moving forward, not back. The trial is still coming. I'll testify. The Hillmans will go to prison. And then? I don't know. Figure out how to live as this new version of myself, I guess. To everyone who shared their own stories of identity crisis, of finding out your life wasn't what you thought, thank you. It helps to know I'm not alone in feeling untethered. And to those who asked if I'm okay, I'm not. But I will be. Eventually. I'm Emma Valenti. I'm still figuring out what that means. But at least I know who I'm not.